Hi, today I want to show you how to make this pretty little tray that can also be used for glasses. I'll show you that in a minute. But I made this little tray to make as a gift to put these two candles in. It's really sweet as decor. Let me put these up to the side. As you can see, it's just worked as an oblong and worked in the round. And my glasses fit in there really nicely. I think this will be really nice to have on my bedside, and then have a little wipe in there to clean my glasses, so they always have a safe place to live. Because otherwise, I just kind of leave them in my bed, or they get knocked off the table. But this will be even better, and it will be really sweet. And I think I'll make one for my husband as well. So I'll show you how I went about making this. So in order to figure out the size of the bottom of my tray, I traced around the candles on a piece of paper. See, so I put the candles on a piece of paper, and then I drew around them and cut that piece out. And that was basically my template to make my tray. So this also fits really nicely in the bottom of the tray if you want to use that as a little extra decor. I think I'm going to leave this in here when I gift the candles, because it looks really cute, and it's just like a little bit extra to this piece. I use this Kacha homemade. It's like a denim yarn, except that it's like woven around a little piece of nylon in the middle, I think. Let me check. Polyamide, and oh, it has cotton. Well, that's surprise. So this is actually a thick cotton yarn, and it asks for I think a size 8 to 9. Ooh, an 8 to 9 hook, but I decided to use a 5.5 because it just is so much thinner than you would think. Like, this is the 5.5, and that's the yarn, and it just worked out that way. I got really lucky, and I got my first chain here. I made sure that the chain fit about 2/3 of the way, or a third of the length, and that worked out perfectly. So I'm not going to give you the exact pattern to make this, because it all depends on the tray that you want to make, but this is the way I went about it. So I made sure that I had about 1/3 of the chains here, and that came out to 12 chains. And so then you make one extra chain to start your work. So I'll show you how to do that now. So I'm going to make 13. So I'm going to start with my loop, of course, here. I'm going to make 13 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And as you can see, if I put it on my piece of cardboard here, it goes about 2/3 of the way. Yeah, in that middle center. So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to keep going around and around and around and around until we have this whole base covered, and then we work the walls up for as many rows as you want. You can make it lower, higher, depending on what you're going to be using it for. But I think I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows here. I think if I'm going to use it for glasses, I'm just going to make it 4 rows, and that's going to be perfect for glasses. So now that I have my 13 chains, I'm going to move this over for a minute. Now that I have my 13 chains, I'm going to turn it to the back, and I'm going to work in these back loops of my chains. So you can see at the front, you can see these little V's, right? But when you turn it around, you see a little bump, and you want to go in and you want to work into that first bump. And these can be a bit tricky at first if you've never done them before, but it makes for such a nice base. So I worked in my first bump, then I find the next one. That's 2. And then there's 3. And 4. And 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. And then that final one, she's always tricky. There we go, 12. So here's our starting row. As you can see, that's about 2/3 of the way there, and I have enough now to go around. Now I'm going to make 3 more single crochets in this final one. And now I'm going to continue on the, see how that kind of turned the whole thing? And here's my tail. And I'm gonna work my tail in across this side. And because I worked in those back bumps, as you can see, there's beautiful V's here to work in, which makes it so much easier. You're not working on a difficult edge here. It's just, so basically, we're working on the other side, and we're just going to go down the other side until we get to the other end. Now, I'm not going to count from here on out. Every time I come to my edges, you'll see how I do an increase. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's not rocket science. You just kind of have to make sure that it's flat and that you're doing well. It really doesn't matter how many stitches you have. You don't have to worry about counting. If you're an experienced crocheter, this should not be an issue for you. If you're not, I'm going to try and explain this to you as well as I can. My grandmother, actually, when she made things like hats and scarves, she wouldn't count. She wouldn't follow any patterns. She just knew it by heart. I think she even made like little baby booties and little baby sweaters. She just knew it by heart, and she would just make it. And she would say, oh, when it feels like you have to increase, just increase. But if you're not an experienced crocheter, that's a hard one to do. So I'm here at my final single crochet here at the end, right? And because I did 3 extra ones there, that's the same. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm not going to join. I'm just going to keep going. So as you can see, here's my next single crochet, and I'm going to work another one in there. Now see how it doesn't feel like I'm going to be able to make it to this one easily? I'm going to put in an extra single crochet just because I can, and I think it'll look better that way. So you know, when it feels like it needs an extra one, just put in that extra one. It doesn't really matter. So we're going to keep going until we get to the other side. And basically, I think just rounding it off is maybe the hardest part, because you want to make sure that it lays nice and flat. So here I'm coming to the other end again. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 double crochets, a single crochet, and 2 double crochets. And that's kind of like, no, I meant 2 singles. And that's kind of how I'm going. And I'm always laying it, I'm going to lay it back down on my little template to make sure that I'm in the right place. But see how the shape is correct. So as long as we see that the shape is coming along, we're doing okay. So 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and then another single crochet, and then 2 more. And this brings us back to the flat side, as you can see. And then we just keep going until we get to the other side. Now, depending on your tension, on your yarn, you might need to do extra single crochets in certain places. Like I said, you want to make sure that it lies nice and flat, that it fits on your template. That works out. You can also see that in the meantime, the tail has pretty much been worked in, but because it has that funny bit here, I'm going to probably snip that off at the end, but for now, I'm just going to leave it there. So now I'm at my other end, and what I'm going to do is the same again. I'm going to do 2 single crochets, 2 singles. I wonder if I can, yeah, I can bring you in closer. What I'm going to do is to come around to the other side, I'm going to do 2 singles, 1 single, 2 single, and then I should be good and on my way to go to the other side. So 2 single, 1 single, and 2 more. And that brings me leveled out to the other side to keep going. See how nice and snug that is to go to the other side? So we're going to keep going. Till we get to that next curve. Now here, because we already have more stitches, what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably do 2 singles in this one, then 1 single, 1 single, 2 single. One, 2, and then I'll be lined up really nicely to work the next straight edge. See? So now I can just keep going across. Now I've come back to my next curve. I'm just going to show you what it looks like on the template so you can see it's just really lovely, fitting right into the center, and you can see that the space that's around the template is the same everywhere. So Probably gonna have to do 2 more rows and we'll be good on this side. So we're continuing on the other side here, and we're gonna do the same as on the other one, is 2 singles, another single, another single, and then 2 in the next. And then we're going to work our way across. If you feel like you need an extra single crochet to make that come, then it's really, really not going to make such a big difference at this point. As you can see, without a pattern, this is not that hard to do. So we're back at the curve. We're going to do 2 singles in the same. Now we're going to do 3 in the next 3. And then another 2. Because as you see, this part is flattening out a little bit. So we're just working with what we see, and that's how we're going to get round to the other side. So I'm not counting rows, I'm not counting stitches, I'm just playing it by eye, just eyeballing it. I think that's the best way to describe it. Here I am at the next curve. So what I said was 2 single crochets, the same. Then we're going to do 3 singles in the next 3. 1 and 2 and 3, and then 2 in the same. And that brings us to the next curve. I'll go across here and then I'll put it on my template again to see where I'm at, because I think we're getting pretty big here already. I guess you could make these for pens. Let me think what else you could put in these. Remote controls. Maybe in the bathroom. Okay, we're at the other side. Let's see. See how beautifully flat that is? Put that on my template. Oh, see, I'm almost there. I probably just have to go around here, here, and this will be where I finish. So I'm going to go around one more time. So I'm going to increase. Let's see how many I need now. Oh, you could probably put yarn in these. Like if you have little extra, oh, your yarn hooks. Gosh, look, put my scissors in there, my yarn needle. If you can think of it, it'll go in. And now I'm going to go across the straight side again. I think once this part is done, the hardest part, you've done the hardest part. Once you have that template floor covered, I've gotten to the next curve, and I'm just going to check on my template if this is the right size at this point, which it isn't, as you can see. I still need to go around here and then I'll be done. Now this yarn is quite stretchy, so if you want this to fit in the bottom, it will. Oh, look, see, I just stretched it a little bit and it's bigger now. So I could stop here. I could keep going. What am I going to do? I think I'll just finish it here, and then I'll start working my edges up. So I'll just do one more increase piece. So depending on the yarn that you use and how stretchy it is, and if you wash it and block it and all of that. So yeah, I think this is where I'm going to start making my brim, or working up the side. So in order to work up the side, I am going to work in the back loop. As you can see, that kind of gives you this edge here, and that helps you to see where you're, you know, where the bottom is and where it works up. So by working the back loop only, and we're not doing any more increases, that is how we're going to go all the way around to start working up the edges. So here we go. Back loop, single crochet. Now the back loop is just, you have a V, and you insert your hook into that back loop, and you single crochet. And that's all it is you're just going to be going around all of these back loops and go around to the other side. So my template will now fit in the bottom of my piece, and basically just keep working single crochets around and around and around, until you get the height that you want. And I'm going to use this one for glasses, so I'm not going to do as many as that. So I'm going to leave you there, and I'll show you how I finish it off once I have the height that I want. So I'll see you there. So I've worked up my 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've come to my beginning row. And how do I know that I've come there is because there's this little divot. Oh, I don't know if you can see it really well, but here's my back loop only, and this is where that ends. So this is where I want to end that row so that it kind of works well into that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my yarn about 3 inches, 2.5 inches, and I'm just going to pull it up. I'm going to take my tapestry needle and I'm going to go through the next single crochet right there, and that makes the first V here. Then I'm going to go to the previous, and I'm going to go through the back loop, and that creates like an invisible join. Look, so it makes it look like an invisible join. I'm going to make a knot and work that into my yarn. Pull it through the back here, and then I make a little knot. And then I'm going to weave in the ends just by going about through 3 or 4 stitches in one direction, and then I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back, but skipping that last one. Kind of cut it too short, so you maybe, but that's how I just, if I cut it too short, I put my needle in first and then I put the yarn back through and then I pull it back so that it goes both ways. And that's my end, and then I snip off these ends. And we're done. Now I have my nice little tray that I can put my crochet hook in, my glasses, all my bits and pieces. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you will make one for yourself. This was so easy to make, so quick to make. I think this took me 20 minutes, but explaining it to you maybe took longer. I don't know, but have fun with this. Let me know if you try, what kind of yarn you're using, if it works out for you. If you have any questions, I try to answer them as soon as I can. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Have a blessed day. Bye.